First, a tiny spark would form in the tube with a spitting and hissing. Then it would grow, breaking out of the tube and through walls or anything in its way. Growing and rising, spreading erratically horizontally, moving with a strange random motion as it climbed upwards and grew larger and larger. It would reach the size of a normal atomic bomb in a few minutes, and some would be killed by its heat, as some buildings would catch fire from it. But mostly there would be the terror as the people in the city saw it spread its visible radiation and heard the familiar crackling thunder of its detonation. The terror would kill some of them in their panic flight, even while the thing itself drifted upwards until it found a layer of air too thin for it to go on, and it came to an automatic end. But they would mostly escape, except for bad cases of sunburn and the results of their own panic. Dry material flamed quickly before its peculiar radiation, but men were not made of dry material, and it was almost harmless. They would simply have no children, and that was better than most of them could expect in a day when each morning marked the beginning of a new fear of hydrogen bombs, or worse. One more minute. Volsek had expected the director to move to the panel where the big switch would cut on the surprisingly small oscillator that would trigger the little crystals in the tube projectors. But the director was stepping back, motioning him forward.
Yes, Johann. It is an honor I have reserved for you.
There was silence in the laboratory room as Volsek moved slowly toward the board. He straightened, his eyes going down to his coat, where a bit of lint clung to it. Stephanie would have spotted it at once and rushed to brush it off. Stephanie, who knew nothing of what his great work was, but who was awed by having a husband who would receive a visit from the director. Stephanie, who could have other children, after all, in this world that would have ultimate peace in spite of all the war threats, because of the work her husband was now about to do. Suddenly, he wondered how many Stephanies there might be in the West. How many women could wait for the children they wanted and never find them? How many would curse him when they finally realized the truth, without ever knowing that he was the man they were cursing? He cut off the thought savagely. There would be others in the long centuries to come who would know his name and would then bless him as their children grew up without the threat of war and extinction. His children would be proud of him, his and Stephanie's. He touched the switch that was to set off the harmless fake bombs over their own world first. The director was at his side, his face no longer smiling, but narrow to that of a wolf. Then the director chuckled, and the edge of his lips curled up.
Let there be light,
He quoted, and his eyes showed that he knew the original usage of the term in the book he was quoting. And there was light. As Johann's finger hit the switch, a tiny, spitting, hissing thing lifted from the nearby city, going up and forward in weird, erratic movements, growing larger and spreading out, now beginning the muttered, staccato thunder that was not unlike a plutonium bomb.